Hello all, my name is D. Ramacharyulu. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. So in this course of Elements of Mechanical Engineering, we are studying the Robotics, Introduction to Robotics. So in this module, we are going to study the Introduction to Robotics. We can see in this slide, there are many kinds of robots available in the market, starting from aerial robots, underwater robots, mobile robots, humanoid robots, industrial, and finally robonauts. If we want to go deep into what these kinds of robots will do, we can see aerial robot. Here, aerial robot is a robot which is very similar to a drone, which can fly and go from one place to another place. Drone and this aerial robot both are different. Aerial robot can navigate on its own, but a drone should be operated by a remote control. So these are aerial robots where they can go from one place to another place on their own. They can change their path, they can manipulate their path when there are obstructions in the way, and they can go safely from one place to another place. Recently, the online delivery company Amazon has started using these drones in the United States, where they can deliver products using drones. They will simply give the coordinates of the place of your address, and this drone will carry the package to your home. And then second one is underwater robots. Underwater robots are the robots which are used for deep diving into the oceans where human beings cannot go, because whenever we go deep into the ocean, more deeper we go, more the pressure on human body. So human body cannot take that much of pressure. Human lungs cannot breathe at that pressure. That is why robots are being used for underwater exploration. Like these robots are used for taking photos and videos of aquatic animals and exploring the underwater in the oceans and seas. And then mobile robots. So these kinds of robots are very popular in military applications, where mobile robots are used for disarming bombs, or they can be used to go for places where human beings cannot reach. They will contain a camera, and they can act on their own. They will turn around the obstacles. They can move from one place to another place on their own. Okay, so the mobile robots are used in disarming bombs. Like they will attach it with some kind of sensors which can see through walls, so that they can identify persons who are staying inside a house or a building. So mobile robots are very useful when the military applications, like the military personnel can use these robots instead of humans. They can find out what is happening inside a building. And then we know in humanoid robots. These humanoid robots are very popular in movies, where we used to see a lot of movies related to humanoid robots, where the robots will act exactly like a human being. It will have the body parts as similar to human being: heads, body, legs, and have two hands. And they are also capable of listening, watching, speaking, etc. So humanoid robots are in they are also being developed, but not up to the mark as shown in the movies. So humanoid robots are the robots which are similar to human beings in look, but they are mostly machines. Okay, and then industrial robots. Industrial robots are the robots which are used in industries for manufacturing or they can be used in assembly lines, because we are studying a subject related to elements of mechanical engineering. We will study these industrial robots in our course. So, industrial robots are the robots which can be used to do multiple operations, like they can weld a car body as shown in the figure. They are manufacturing an assembly line of a car. They can weld car body, they can paint, they can make the screws into the car body, and they can fit different parts and they can assemble the parts. Okay, so these are industrial robots where they are frequently and used in the industries for manufacturing different parts. Why do we use robots? We will see. Here, robonauts. Robonaut is next big thing going to happen in the coming century, because robonauts can go into space and they can work along with humans, so that we can reduce the amount of human beings being sent into the space, and we can reduce the health hazards to human beings. Because whenever a human being went to space, and when if he stays there for like 6 months, he will get many health problems, starting from uh, breathing, blood pressure, and etc. These are all the problems that comes because of zero gravity. So that is why robots are being used in space exploration. Apart from these robots, some other robots are also used for space exploration, like rovers. We have seen recently India also sent one rover onto moon, which is unsuccessfully landed. Okay. Now robots are being used in space exploration also. So we will see in detail why should we use robots. Why should we replace human beings with robots? The one first thing we should replace human beings with robots is, human beings cannot work for repeated time. They cannot work for longer hours. Even human beings work for 8 hours a day. That is time fixed by many of the industries back in the year, where the industrial revolution is very rampant. So the robots replaced human beings because they can work all the 24 hours a day, and they can work 7 days a week. Why? With the introduction of robots in industries, many skilled labor has lost their jobs. So here comes an important discussion about why should we include or inculcate the use of robots in industries. Whether a lot of people will lose their job because of the robots, or what should we do? What happens if robots are completely taking over humans? These are all very discussing topics of today's world. Now let us go deep into the robot history. Back in the year 1922, a Czech author named Karel Čapek, he is a story writer. He wrote a story called Rossum's Universal Robots, and introduced the word robota. This is the first time in the history where the word robot is used. Here the word robota means worker. Any person who is working can be called as a worker. Similarly, anything which is working can be called as a worker, which is called, it can be called as a robot. And then in 1954, George Devol developed the first programmable robot. Back in the year 1954, this scientist named George Devol has developed a robot which can be programmed according to the need. And then in the 1955, Dinavet and Hartenberg, these are the two scientists who developed the homogeneous transformation matrix, which revolutionized the use of robots. We will see what are these homogeneous transformation matrices in the coming classes. This homogeneous transformation matrices has completely changed the use operation or design of the robot. And next, in the year 1962, Unimation is association. It is a society for the robots, robotic manufacturing industries, or the industries which uses robots. So Unimation was formed in 1962. Then the first industrial robot was introduced. So it is the Association of Robots in the United States, where they have developed an industrial robot which is commercially used in all the industries, including manufacturing industries. And this is all about the history of robots, why the robots has been developed, why the robots are being depicted in many movies, because human beings are very fascinated about robots, and they are also very fear why or how the robots may overtake human beings. That is why a lot of movies are being made on robots, because of the fear that they will someday they will overtake the human race. And see here, robotics. Robotics is the study and application of robot technology. The study and applications of robot technology is called robotics. And telerobotics is the word which is given to robotics, which can be remotely operated. So these are some of the important keywords when we study about robots. So telerobotics, when we can operate a robot remotely, then it can be called as a telerobot. Now, we'll see some laws of robots. See, back in the 1900s, Asimov, Asimov is a Asimov is a scientist. He proposed some laws for robots, that any robot manufactured should have some laws. These robots should follow some laws. So there, first law. We'll see there are three laws. We'll see what is first law. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. So the first law given by Asimov is a robot should not harm any human being, or it should not do any action which causes harm to human being. This is the first law, because the human beings are very weak when compared to robots, because robots are machines. They can have more power when compared to human beings. That is why every robot should have a rule that they should not harm any human being through direct or indirect actions. And then law 2, second law. A robot must obey orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. See here, any robot manufactured for the use of human beings only. So the robot should be listening to human being, unless there is one condition. Unless the robots should not harm or should not disobey the first law. Okay, I can give a command to robot, it will accept and it will work. But I cannot give a thing to the robot that to harm a human being. Even though I give a command to the robot, it should not accept that command. So it should not overcome the first law. First law is it cannot harm human beings. Even though the robot should listen to human beings or operator, it should not cause any harm to human beings. And then, third law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with first and second law. So the third law directly states the robot should protect its own identity, protect itself, unless it should not overcome the first and second law. That means it cannot overcome the law of causing harm to a human being, and it cannot overcome the second law, that it should always listen to human beings. Okay. So these are the basic rules formed back in the 1900s by Isaac Asimov. He is a scientist because he has the fear that robots one day they will conquer human race. So all the robots in the world should follow these three rules. Somehow, many robots in nowadays are overcoming some of these laws because of their good functioning and because of their advancement. These three laws are given in order to protect human beings from robots. Okay. Now we'll go to the next slide. Robots. Robots are the mechanical devices that perform either automatically or remote control. So all the robots can be performing different operations. They can replace human beings in any kind of task, starting from singing, dancing, writing, doing machining operations, and doing uh, medical operations like surgeries, and they can do space exploration. All these things are possible by robots. Human beings can be replaced by robots for doing any kind of task. So, some ideal tasks which are performed by robots. Let us see those tasks here. First one are dangerous tasks, and second one is boring or repetitive tasks. Now, dangerous tasks are like space exploration, where human beings will have to go into space and explore the space or explore some new planet. So, for human beings, it is very dangerous because we are not, uh, our bodies does not support the zero gravity. So, sending a machine instead, which can think into space exploration, is very useful. And chemical spill cleanup, like some kind of chemicals may spill sometimes in oceans. The petroleum will leak from ships. Sometimes the chemicals like nuclear wastes may get spilled in some places like near the nuclear reactors or oceans, where these things cannot be cleaned up by human beings because they are very dangerous to human beings. That is why robots can be used at that place in order to clean the spill up. And then disarming bombs. We already know that robots are being used in military, which are mobile robots, and they can be used for disarming bombs. Okay, because while diffusing the bombs may cause, it may explode and cause damage to human beings. They can kill sometimes. And then disaster cleanup. Sometimes due to earthquakes or cyclones, some disaster will happen. Buildings may collapse during earthquakes. So these parts of the building can be cleaned up with the help of a robot because human beings cannot lift more weights. That is why we have to use robots for cleaning up the disaster buildings. And then second kind of tasks are boring or repetitive tasks, where these are mostly seen in industries where we will use welding, car frames, we'll use robot for that, and then part pick and place operations. For this, we can use robots because human beings will get tired easily because these are very repetitive tasks. And then manufacturing parts. In most of the mechanical related industries, robots are being used for manufacturing car bodies, assembly lines, etc. Here we can see there are three pictures. First one shows that a rover, which is of the size of a big truck, this is being used for space exploration. It is sent to Mars by NASA. And then second picture shows a robot doing a welding operation. This welding operation generally any human being can do, but with the help of a visor. We have to use a visor in order to protect our eyes from welding spark. So that is why human beings are replaced with robots. And then in the third picture, we can see multiple robots which are working in union for operating a human being. They are doing a surgery on the human body. So this is how robots can be used in multiple operations. Here, one important thing about the robots doing a surgery is This is conflicting with the first law of robots. We have seen three laws of robots. In that first law is the robot should not harm any human being by direct or indirect action. But here, when a robot is used for doing surgery on a human body, it is harming the body in some manner. So we have to overcome that first law in order to use the robots for doing operations. And the robots are more precise because we have seen the robots are being used in manufacturing industry where we can make the end products very precisely and in a less time when compared to human beings. That is why human beings are replaced in the place of doctors. I mean, the robots are being replaced with the doctors because they can do precise operations and they can think at the time. They can not only do the operation, they can think whether if something happened, some error happened while doing a surgery, they can recover that error. Okay. Now we'll go to the next slide. So let us see what is an automation. So automation is a technology that is concerned with the use of mechanical, electronic, and computer-based systems in the operation and control of production. So any automation, any machine, any mechanical machine can be used for automation. Okay. I take the example of a CNC machine, which is fixed with lathe. So the lathe machine is a conventional type of machine which is used for turning objects. Now this lathe machine is connected with a computer numerical control where it is automated. Okay. Now, if any technology is given to a machine which will make it work automatically, then that machine can be called as automated machine. The best example for this is CNC lathe machine. And in this picture, we can see a industrial robot which is functioning on its own. When we give the required codes, it can work automatically. Okay, depending on the codes we have given. We have to write a program for the movement of the different parts of the robot, and following that code, it will work. So some examples of automations are transfer lines, where we can see, suppose we take the example of Coca-Cola manufacturing company, where lot of bottles of Coca-Cola are being developed and they are produced in large number in a single hour. So they are to be there in an assembly line. They can be inspected. Uh, they can be readied and they can be applied the stickers. All these things can be done in a transfer line very fastly because human beings will be doing that work very slowly. Okay, now transfer lines are automated, and then assembly machines. Whenever we have a car automation, automobile industry, we can see the mechanized assembly machines are there, where different parts of the car body can be mechanized and they can be assembled. And then third one, feedback control system. So whenever we have a system which contains feedback, this feedback system will make the system automated because it will take the output variables and it will modify the inputs accordingly. We have seen the feedback control system in the previous class already. And then numerical control machine tools. So we have already seen CNC machines, which are widely used in mechanical industries, where they are controlled by a computer for doing different operations. And finally, robots. Robots is also a part of automation where they can work on their own and doing some things, moving one object from one place to another place, or there are multiple applications of robots where they can be used. Now, we have seen automation. Attaching a computer or automatic control to a machine can be called as an automation. Now, we can see different classifications of automation. First one is fixed automation, second one is programmable automation, and third one is flexible automation. Let us see. Here, the fixed automation is mostly done where the repeated jobs are done for entire time. See here, in the first picture, we have some bottles where their caps are to be tightened. So we have replaced this process by an automated machine. Okay. Now this automated machine will tight the screw caps for all the bottles which are coming in the assembly line, which are coming in the conveyor belt. They can be capped and they can be sent again. Okay. Now see here, they are coming in this direction. Their caps are being tightened and again from here they are going back. Okay. This is the path followed by that assembly line. Now we can see this machine, whatever the machine is there here, it is being controlled by a system, automated system. This automated system has only one function, one fixed function for its entire life. That is, this machine has to tight the caps of all the bottles. There is no other function for this machine. There is only fixed function and it has to work all the time based on the same function. So, in fixed automation, we can give a instruction to a machine by which it can work as long as it is removed or stopped. Okay, there is only one function given to this machine. So, this is called fixed automation, where this machine will be working on a single thing. And then second one, programmable automation. See here, programmable automation is nothing but where we can give the codes accordingly into the machine. We can see in this picture, the second picture is there. Here we can see the programmable automation means we can give the program in this control panel. We can give the codes into this panel and we can make the machine work. Here we can see a control panel where we can give codes into the system. Based on the program codes, it can actuate the machine and it will make some process happening. So this is programmable automation. Here in programmable automation, we can change the code according to the need. We can change code for each individual object. After completion of one process, we can rewrite the code again and we can use that code n number of times. And here, the third type, flexible automation. The third type is flexible automation, where we will have many number of machines which are working in union and they are all controlled by a common control sequence. Okay. This entire system can be used for manufacturing any kind of object. They can be used for multiple operations, where in the first two machines or the first two automations can be used for a single use or a single operation can be done. Whereas in the flexible automation, we can do more than one function, where we can do multiple operations like milling, drilling, threading, knurling, etc. So, the third kind of automation is what called as flexible automation. So this is all about introduction to robotics. So in the next class, we'll see what are the applications of robots and how the robots anatomy is studied and how the robots are classified based on the coordinate systems. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.